Hello friends, welcome to the YouTube channel of 𝗟𝗓𝗏𝗘. My name is Tejal. Today I am going to discuss about center-state relation. So, what is center-state relation? It is division of powers. Let's discuss in more detail about this division of powers. We say that India is a federal structure. How India is a federal structure? Because in India, not only centers takes decision, but states also takes decision. Federal structure get divided into three factors. Which are these three factors? They are legislative, financial, and executive. Legislative factor heads under legislation. Financial factor heads under financial structure. And administration helps our executives to play important role in executive. Now, in our Indian Constitution, center-state relation comes under part 11. We just have learned that there are three factors in center-state relation. So, the first factor, that is legislation. It comes under articles 245 to 255. Let's learn in detail about this legislative relation. There are territorial limits. These territorial limits are for center and state as well. Center can make law for the whole country. So, for the center, territorial limit is whole India. But do you know that India can make law even outside India also? You may ask how it is possible. It is possible. Let's take an example to consider this scenario. If there is a country named India and we are having a company in India as its location. Also, the same company is having its branch outside India. So, obviously, there are territorial nexus between these two companies. There are a financial nexus between these two companies. So, Parliament gets it right to make a law for this country in India as well as outside India. Hence we say that center can make law for the India and outside India too. Now state's territorial limit. State can make law for its own territory and this is the state's territorial limits. Now let's learn about legislative subject limits. We know that under Schedule 7, we are having three lists: center list, state list, and concurrent list. Center can make laws on the subjects of center list. State can make laws on the subjects of state list. But both the center and state can make laws on concurrent list subjects. In case of conflict, center wins here because center prevails over state. After this, there are few points to remember. By 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, there were few subjects which got transferred from state to concurrent list. Which are those subjects? Those subjects are education, forest, weights and measures, protection of wild animals and birds, administration of justice. These are the 5 subjects which got transferred from state list to concurrent list in 1976. Even today, many of us consider that education comes under state list. But no, it got transferred from state list to concurrent list in 1976. Why are we learning this point? Because for these 5 subjects, our center-state relations got changed after 1976. After this, there are few situations for which Parliament can make law even for the state list. We just learned that state makes law for state list. But let's learn few situations where Parliament is making law for the state list. Which are these situations? These situations are emergency. During emergency, under Article 249, Parliament gets power to legislate with respect to a matter in the state list in the national interest, which says that Power of a parliament to legislate with respect to any matter in the state list if proclamation of emergency is in operation. So, we are clear with this situation of emergency when Parliament can make law even for the state list. Now, there is also precedent rule. If there is a precedent rule in a state, then Parliament can make law on the subjects of state list for that state. Now, if Rajya Sabha passes a resolution, then Parliament can make law for that state's state list. If there is some international agreement and which is going to be implemented, then center takes state rights in this scenario and Parliament can make law for the states. When a particular states make a request to Parliament that they need Parliament to make law for them, then Parliament makes a law for such a state's state list subject. Let's learn about how center controls state legislature. We know that center passes a bill and it goes to president for its assent. Now, state legislatures also pass the bill and they pass it to the governor. But governor can reserve such a bill for president's assent. And this is how center controls over state legislature. There is a bill of freedom of trade and commerce. But this bill can be introduced in the state legislature only by prior sanction of president. This means that if there is no prior sanction of president, such a bill like freedom of trade and commerce bill can't be introduced in the state legislature. So this is also a kind of center control over state legislature. During a financial emergency, president can ask to reserve money bill or a financial bill. And this is the third center controls over state legislature. We had Justice R.S. Sarkaria who gave us this center-state relations recommendations. After legislative relations, we are having administrative relations under Article 256 to 263. Article 256 says that it is obligation of states and the union. Article 257 says that control of the union over states in certain cases. Article 257A says that assistance to states by deployment of armed forces or other forces of the union. But this article is repealed now. Article 258 says that power of the union to confer powers etc. on states in certain areas. Article 250A says that it is the power of the states to entrust functions of the union. Article 259 is also repealed. Article 260 says that jurisdiction of the union in relation to territories outside India. Article 261 says that public acts, records and judicial proceedings. 262 says that adjudication of disputes relating to waters of interstate rivers or river valleys. Article 263 says that there is a provision with respect to interstate council. India's interstate relations comes under financial relations under Article 264 to 293. By this way, we just learned about state and center relations. Thank you.